Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Speak On It. I am your boy, R.W. Coolins. First and foremost, giving honor to God who allows me to come at you in this manner on a weekly basis. How's everybody doing out there this morning? Hope everybody's safe. Hope everybody's sound. Let's go ahead and get into this. And I got something I want to talk to y'all about real quick. But let's get into R.W. Coolins over all social media platforms. Go there, like, share, subscribe. We're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook this morning. Like, share, and subscribe. That's what we do here every Saturday morning on the Speak On the Show, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific time. Do what you do with all the other things you may watch and you may be involved in, all right? Call in number 844-904-2665. That's 844-904-2665. No matter what the situation is, let your voice be heard. All we ask is say what you mean what you say. We come in as friends, we leave as family. That's what we do here on the Speak On the Show. Every Saturday morning, as I said, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Trent Branch, my brother, good morning, good morning. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Willis Cheney, my brother, good morning, good morning. Appreciate you, appreciate you. Now that I got all that out the way, it's unscripted. It's an unscripted Saturday, but I'm changing up a little bit this morning. I got a special guest coming on, and I want to apologize to him ahead of time because I wasn't able to get the flyer up and all that kind of stuff because I had a lot of things going on, but we're going to have a good conversation. We're going to have a good conversation this morning. Robert McKinney's his name. We call him Cheese, nickname Cheese. We're going to get into all that as we get him in here. But, I got to start off with this, y'all. Can I vote? Can I vote? www.nass.org. Can I vote? Make sure you log in. Go in there. Check the website. Gives you all the information. You find out if you can vote, if you register right, your address is right. All the information about you being able to vote is there. You're going to continue hearing me saying this for a while. I want to continue to say it because we need to be up on this. April Whedon, good morning, sis. Good morning. Appreciate you. Reggie P. Rowe, good morning. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. So I know everybody was wondering this morning if I was going to talk about what's going on in the world. Nah. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. For the simple fact, there's too many variations, and I don't have enough history on what's going on over in Israel with Hamas and the Palestinians and everything like that. All I'm going to say is this. Let's send prayers and pray that everyone comes out of there. I know there's a lot of people been killed already. Just call it what it is. War is war. There's a lot of different verbiage about who started what, when, where, and why. Not going to get into that right now. We're going to leave that alone. But what I will say is this, keep praying for them. But I want you all to be aware of this too. Ryan Hill, good morning, my brother. Hit World. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Tommy Dorsey, good morning, my brother. Good morning. Appreciate you. But I will say this. This is one thing I'm going to say, and then we're going to get Cheese in here real quick. But all I'm going to say is this. Everybody sees what's going on with the Republican Party. I talked about it last week, but here's what I want everybody to understand, and y'all going to laugh at me when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. With the discourse and what's going on with the Republican Party, you can count on, and you can put it down the day that I said it on October 14th. November 17th is predicted shutdown of the government. You can plan on it happening. You can plan on the shutdown happening. So I'm going to tell everybody out there, if you're a government employee, you get paid on the 1st, shutdown's going to happen on the 17th. Go out there, get your ramen noodles, get your pot of meat, get your crackers, get everything you need to get to hold you over. Because we don't know how long this is going to last this time because there's so much discourse and unorganization within the Republican Party. Be prepared. The writing's on the wall. They're not going to come up with no budget by that time. Just be prepared. That's all I'm going to tell you. I know it's not a laughing matter, but it is what it is. P. Mac, good morning, my brother. Appreciate it. Long time no here. I owe you a call. We'll get back together. But right now, I'm with no further ado. I see my brother's in the green room right there. Let's go ahead and bring him in here. My brother, Robert McKinney. What's happening?
Hey, what's up, RC, baby? What's going on with you?
Man, if I had your hand, I'd cut mine off, bro.
I know. I feel you, man. You're looking good, man. You're looking good.
Likewise, man. It's good to see you. I ain't seen you since Judy's 50th party, bro.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man.
It's been a minute, man.
But it's like this with all my brothers, man. We don't have to see each other, talk to each other for years, man. But if you have that, whatever type of bond that was connected through a visual or a conversation, is always standing and is always there,
Oh, so, for sure.
Yeah, man. All my friends, man, my lifelong friends I met through playing basketball, man. All of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I've been blessed in that sense, man. Yeah.
Well, let me say this. All y'all out there that's listening, he said he met all his lifelong friends through basketball. So I did play. As much as y'all don't want to tell me, I played. I did play. Now, he said I was great, but I did play. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So this morning, man, I want to get into some things you're doing, something that you're doing. But before we get into what you're actually doing, I want people to get to know who you actually are. So Robert McKinney.
Right.
Where you born and raised? Florida, right?
Man, yeah, man. You know, I'm Miami born and bred. You know, the 305 down in the MIA. That's where I'm from, man. That's where I get all my like they call it a not grit. That's where I get all my grit from, man. You know, I grew up a very small kid, man. I graduated from high school. I was about 5'4". Got in, went into the military, grew about 6 inches, man, and so it changed my perspective because always playing any type of sports as a little person. You had to have the knowledge of the game, and you had to play hard to compete. So when I got taller, I used to run up against short guys like Boogie D over in the Philippines. And I said, man, I know what you're thinking, man. You're going to out-hustle me and all of those things. And so that never happened. Yeah, but my people, they're originally from South Carolina, Manning, South Carolina, and Santee down there. That's where my family's originally from. So they migrated down south to Miami. Once they had the opportunity. So that's where all my folks are from. That's where majority of my family right now, they still out in Miami,
Okay. And born, retired Air Force. Let's put that out there, retired Air Force.
Oh, yeah, I did 26 years, man, 26 years there. And after I retired in 2006, I started working in the school system. So from 2007 to 21, I was a teacher. So I had 14 years as a teacher. So I did 26 years for my country, 14 years in my community. I'm done.
Okay. All right. Trent Brand said, I went through the same thing. I grew after graduating from high school. I think we all did. I ain't grow a lot, but I did. Right. But I had the same thing as Chief. I was 5'4", like 120 good pounds when I got to the Philippines. And then, today I'm about, I ain't gonna say, about 5'7", 5'7" and a quarter, give or take an inch.
I keep my height. I tell you, my height 5'10" and a half, but I ain't gonna give you my weight.
Oh, I ain't throwing weight out there now. No. I'm on a slim slow diet. Slim slow.
Yeah. So that's man. But I've been truly blessed, man. Miami gave me everything I needed. I mean, the boys club down in Miami, Coach Michael Howard, Coach Charlie Brown. Man, those guys did everything in the world they could for me, and I didn't even realize it then when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just trying to survive. I grew up in Overtown in Miami, and the boys club I went to was in Liberty City. So there was only 2 guys from Overtown going into Liberty City at that particular boys club to play sports. Me and my homeboy William T. Clark, man, that was my heart, man. Still is. And so it was.
Hold on, Chief.
Small kid. And,
hold on, Chief.
Okay.
Real quick. You got some distortion in your microphone. I don't know if it's your mic or somebody. It's only when you talk. I don't know what it is.
Oh my goodness.
I want them to hear you clear.
All right, let me try to turn it down a little bit. Is that better?
Appreciate that, Willis Cheney. Appreciate that input, bro.
Is it better now?
It's still a little bit.
Let me.
It's only when you talk.
Oh my goodness.
It's still doing a little bit. No, you good, bro. This is what we do here, man. We fix on the fly, bro. This ain't no we professional to a certain extent. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't really know what to do right now. I'm gonna turn the volume down a little bit. So okay.
It might be what it was. I don't know. Let me see if I can do something on my end too.
Now, what about that? Is it still distorted?
Yeah, just a little bit, but hold on. Let me see.
Okay.
All right, talk now.
All right.
Oh, now it's an echo. Let's see. I think we might be now. Go ahead.
Okay, is it still echoing?
Yeah, it's still a little bit. If you want, you can go out and come back in. Go out again. Oh, there's too much?
No. I'm gonna try it, man. Like I said, I was sweating to try to.
Oh no, you good, bro. You good. Go ahead, go out and come back in, and let's see if we can fix it that way.
All right, let me go ahead and do that.
I'll fill some gap in here and talk some smack. All right, we're gonna get Cheese back in here for a minute. But let's go back. Trent Brand said he went from 5'7" to 6 foot. Yeah, I stood beside you. You ain't no 6 foot, man. You ain't no 6. I'm just saying, I stood beside you. For Nick Allen, good morning. Good morning. Russell Jenkins, good morning. Good morning. Appreciate y'all tuning in. But we're gonna have a good show this morning, man. We have technical difficulties every once in a while, but we're gonna work through them. We're gonna work through because I want y'all to hear exactly what Cheese has got going on. I call him Cheese because that's what we know him as, nickname and everything like that. But as I was saying before, with the shutdown, let's go here for a minute. With the shutdown, I don't want people to think I'm making light of this, but what I'm saying is we can see the writing on the wall that is going to happen. Prepare yourselves. Be prepared that this is going to happen. That's all. And I think we got Cheese back. Let's go ahead. Talk to me, bro.
All right. Is it better?
Yo, bro, much better. There you go.
All right.
There you go.
That's cool. Well, like I was saying, I had some coaches that took interest in me, man. And I never knew their impact until I got older. You know what I'm saying? When I started looking back. So those are two of the men that I call on Father's Day every year, Charles Brown and Michael Howard. They took an interest in me in the boys club that I could never repay. So now I try to repay it through what I do with the kids that I work with over in the DR. But I'm going to tell you one story about Michael Howard. Kids would share everything. Back then, we Burger King, they'd cut up, they'll cut you a slice of their Whopper, give you some fries. But when that ice cream truck came around, you ain't had no money. You was on your own. Ain't nobody licking no ice cream, then you lick it too. So Coach Howard, man, I don't know if he gave me a 5, a 10, or a 20. It could have been $100 bills to this day because I didn't have a cent to go get ice cream. He told me to go get him and I an ice cream. Get one for him, one for I. And when I got back, he told me to keep the change because he knew I didn't have any money in my pocket, man. So that, man, look, you think I would ever forget that? So now when I have money in my pocket and I can do what I can do, it goes without question. I would be turning my back on both those gentlemen. And so that's why I do what I do now without hesitation. It's a passion, but I do it without hesitation. And so that's the road that I'm on now. We look for, as a teacher, you do things for 14 years, man. I went to the emergency room twice with stress attacks, man. And the only stress that I had in my life was those kids that I was worrying about every single day that I was teaching, man. Because I went in there with that same type mentality that I had in the military. They were my students. I had to take care of them. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, whether it was help purchasing their mom's washer and dryer. A parent would contact me and the kid wanted a jacket that they couldn't provide the kid. I would step in and do things like that. You know what I'm saying? So, man, 80 new kids every year, about 150 programs in the program, 150 cadets in the program every year. Man, that'll weigh you down, man. Hey, look, how I look when I started and how I look when I finished, two different things, man. Stress will break you down mentally and physically, man. And that's what it did to me. And I couldn't, I could never, once I started being there, and then, I was coaching high school football too. So, and all of those things combined, and it was a lot. But when you're in that circle, you never realize it. Yeah, man. It took its toll. And then teaching is a thankless profession, man. You don't realize it until you stop. And some of the ones that you poured everything into, they may never contact you again. And then some of the other kids, like Manny Peters, when I started this thing with getting the kids basketball shoes, he said, "Hey, man, I'll get 2 pair a month until all the kids have their shoes." Now you realize that you touched the cat. He was a cat that I was a cadet and a football player. Or another one of my players, Keenan Boyce, I got you, coach. I got you. Send me $1,000 right off the rip. You know what I'm saying? So things like that. Then now I know it wasn't. It may have seemed thankless, but it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
your work
those
is not
things.
in vain, bro. Your work is not in vain. You know,
It's like, you no one ever walks around and be validated. But when then you do have people that come back and say things that validate some of the things that you did or the person that you were. You get that. You're allowed to breathe. When them students used to leave every year, man, they had a switchblade cutting me, leaving me, man. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
but then there would always be another kid to come and patch that up until they left. 4 years later, then they saw we out of here,
They
snatch it
rotating
off
in and out.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, look, man, that's like I said, in the moments it can seem thankless, but I have people that call me father. I'm the grandfather and all this thing like this. Like two of my very first students, I'm still in their lives from 2007. Paco and Melissa, and they got married. I just went. They had their baby while I was overseas. I just went this past Sunday. I went and saw basically my grandchild. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's things like that, man. And Melissa's father came over, did some work for me, did some painting. He said I can't charge you. He said everything that you poured into my daughter, I can't charge you.
That's
Paco's
what it
dead.
is.
Yeah, Paco's dead. He deals in construction. He came over. He tore down a wall for me. And I said, how much is it going to cost? He said, just the cost of the labor and the materials. That's it. So it was like about $800. I tried to send the guy $1,200 because I knew if I would have went out on the open market, it'd been $3,000, $5,000. He said, no, just for the labor and just for the material. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So man,
So
it's a full circle thing.
yeah. So when you think about that, man, because when we talk about giving back, let's just start with that. When we talk about giving back, and you talk about Charles Brown, Michael Howard, because I wrote them down because I remember a post you put up where you thanked them for their guidance when you was younger, and now what you're doing with the ROTC, and now we're gonna get into what you're doing over in Dominican Republic and everything like that. Do you feel? And this is where I think a lot of people need to understand it. So I want to put this onus on you to say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that it's an obligation to give back what was given to you because it made you the man you are, with those people to lean on? And I'll give another name that you didn't bring up that I think a lot of the people that were in the PI can mention, Major Bradley.
Yeah, man.
Major Bradley.
Pico, man, that's my heart, man. I never realized, like I said, man, you in a thankless situation. You in like playing ball for Pico for those 3 years, man. I never realized the education because he went to the University of Louisville and had an opportunity to try out for the Olympic basketball team.
I remember all
that. So much about the man, and I came back I came back from Korea. I think it was at some point I came back from Korea and
you feedback again, bro.
I need to give Major Bradley a call.
You got that? It's distorting again.
Man, I'm sorry about that.
No, you good right there. There's good.
So I said, well, let me call him. I didn't have a phone number. I just Kenneth Bradley. I looked up the number in the phone book. I didn't figure there ain't gonna be too many Kenneth Bradleys out in Nevada. So I called the number, I get the number, I called the number, his daughter answered the phone. And she said, my father died about a week ago. Mm-hmm. And that tore me up, man. So if you ever think about somebody you want to reach out, you got to reach out early on. You can't wait, man. Because I wanted to tell him thank you, and I loved him, because he taught me so much about the game, and him and I, we had some issues and everything, and but it was because we were both competitors competing, at that level. And when you want things so bad, sometimes you may say something or you may do something that you're gonna regret for a lifetime. But Pico was my man, Coach Bradley. Man, look at him, man. Look.
He how tall was he? About 6'8", 6'9", somewhere?
Yeah, 6'7", 6'8", man. And we met him way after his time, man. But he was a legend playing the game. You know what I'm saying? And them elbows, man, look. He scarred over many people with them elbows, setting picks and everything and all. But a terrific father, and so he was a good man. Ain't nobody perfect. But he did a lot of good things for a lot of people, And hey, man, I was a player I became because of him. People didn't know it, but a lot of the things that the University of Louisville ran back in the '80s and everything, we were running the same offense they were running.
Yeah.
We ran the same press they ran, the 2-2-1 press, ran the same type offense they ran. So that was it was crazy. So the practice sessions and everything, just thinking the game was a lot. I contributed a lot of that to Coach Bradley, man. But I miss Pico, man. I
ran into him a couple of times after we left there, once or twice, I think, and he looking down on me, college, what's going on. And the thing was, at that time, you got to think I got there in '85. I think you got there before me, but I was there from '85 to '87, and he was there as the coach of the base team, and we would see him and everything. He's always in the gym, but we've very rarely seen Black officers.
True.
They were scattered here and there, but he was such a towering figure that we all gravitated to him because they had that booming voice, and he would just talk to you,
Right.
And that was one of the things. And I know y'all had a good connection because I would see y'all talking all the time in the gym, and I was like, you know what? I used to say to myself, I want that from a coach when I start playing base team or anything like that, And I had people take me under the wing, but he was just one of those influences that you looked at, you'd be like, yeah, he's about us. He's about taking care of us. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey man, like I said, man, I miss Pico all the time, and that he built a strong foundation for me. So when I started coaching, at the high school level and in the base team level and everything, but one of the things I learned afterwards, I had a player that played for me named Job, man. And I found out you really don't know nothing about the players that you come in contact with. So I said, man, if I had it all to do all over again, every time I coached the base team, I would take 30 minutes to an hour to get to know each one of my players, man. Because Job, his story was interesting. He was at the University of Arkansas, had got recruited by Coach Nutt there, and then Coach Nutt got fired. So the new guy came in, told him you can come in as a walk-on. He led the cities and things and touchdown receptions and everything. Great athlete and everything. Went there, but couldn't do the time in his mind, being behind guys that had been there through the spring, that knew the drills, knew the setup and everything else. Called his sister and left. And he's down in tech school out in Mississippi, watching Arkansas play. And one of the guys that told him that said, hey man, just stick it out. You know what I'm saying? Just stick it out. But I never knew all of that about Job until, like years later.
I'm
trying to say? Yeah, because he was a good athlete. I didn't even know how great of an athlete he was till I started hearing about his football prowess. You know what I'm saying? So, this situation with him, that he wanted to start, he should have been starting, but he could never come to practice because he was always, taking classes. I didn't want to not have him on the team, but I said, Job, is it more important for you to start or finish the game? So that's how I had to come to the conclusion with him like that, because once we got up, I'm gonna go to that 1-4 low and let him do his thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I know we getting all off target here.
Oh no, bro, we catching up. They just gonna have to bear with the catch up today. They're gonna have to bear with the catch up today. But so let's get into this, man, because I want to ask you about this. So for everybody that doesn't know, Cheese is over in the Dominican Republic,
right,
doing basketball camps and everything. So first question I'm gonna ask, because I know many people will ask this question. I know you probably get some feedback on this. So I'm gonna put it out there. Why did you choose to do it in the DR?
Well, I was traveling to the DR, and so it was just the country I was actually traveling to, and it came about. So they have these medical services situations set up in foreign countries for veterans that have disabilities. So one was Javante. So I would go to Javante. Man, look, people would think I lived at Javante. I go there 4-5 times a week, you know what I'm saying, and get treatments on about 4 or 5 different things during the week. I was one of their best customers, as they call me, right? So every day we would drive through this little neighborhood, this little barrio, and there was a basketball court, but there was a gate locking the basketball court up. So Nairobi, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman. Nairobi, I said, man, I would say, man, what's going on with that basketball court? And she was like, oh, I know somebody. And I would say, like, on occasion, she said, I done told you I'm from this neighborhood. I can put you in contact with somebody if you want to do something. So that's how it all started. It wasn't a planned thing that I go to Dominican Republic and do that. And then she put me in contact with Miguelito, one of the best known players in the DR in that particular area, because of the way he played and the way he shot the basketball. So I like, she introduced me. She made us, brought us together, and she translated for us. And I said, okay, listen, I'm leaving in about 4 weeks. I'll do it this Saturday before I leave. And Miguelito said, no. He said, you can do it this Saturday, which was about 5 or 6 days. I met him, and I said, okay, because I didn't think he could get the kids together, because I didn't know about the organization that was going on over there between him and the kids and the programs of the kids that are in 12 October. Mm. So I said, man, I know this for myself. You can't have a good basketball clinic if you don't have good basketballs. So right then and there, I got on the Amazon, had about 15 basketball, and by a miracle, they got there on time for that Saturday camp, man. Because I didn't want, like I said, there's nothing worse than, going back up in the day playing and the ball ain't no good. You can't, everything's going wrong. That's one of the pictures there of me and them kids, man.
Yeah, and I wanted people to see the kids that are over there and one thing that jumped out at me is, and it reminded me of the Philippines, the courts, and the concrete bleachers over there on the outside court.
Yeah. Kids play barefoot over there if they don't have any sneakers, and flip flops. When they play barefoot, man, they ain't making no excuses. They playing. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, right? That mentality. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I remember sticking cardboard in the bottom of my shoes. Everybody's shoes would get the hole in the ball of the shoes, and everything else was still good. Yeah. They're my kids right there, man. Yeah. Them my kids back there. Some good kids. The cat in the blue shirt on to the right there. That's right here. That's Fernando or Bobby. That's the one. He's out there with me on Saturdays, helping translate and everything like that. You see, we got a mixture of the Dominicans, and I see my Haitian brothers up there in the front. Them actually, the two on the left there. Them actually twins, and their little brother is right there in the middle with the ball in the middle. And, so, and they don't have a lot. So I know what we do. Like I said, giving back, giving to these kids, putting tennis shoes on their feet. It takes something off of their parents for them to be able to do, and they can have. You know what I'm saying? So it's man. Oh, there you go.
I got all. I pulled them all, bro. I went to your page and pulled them because I wanted people to see that. Look at the smiles on their faces, and it's just that little bit of giving back. And we always remember when we used to be in the park and the old heads used to come down and help us out and teach us something or talk smack to us, and we would get upset, but we would smile at the same time because we know they were just trying to pour back into us something that was or wasn't poured into them. You know what I mean? So, how many camps have you done?
So sometimes we can have up to 25 to 30, but that right there is probably the group size that's because we only have two basketball hoops there, man. So we had more, but I mean it works out. What we try to do is I told you before, we try to provide them breakfast bars and water to give them the energy that they need to have when we start. And then at the end, we have pizza and Gatorade, because some of them may not have a meal if they leave there and things like that. So it's the small things, man. And man, you don't pull them pictures up. You got me around here, eyes getting water.
You getting teary eyed, bro. Well, let me give you one more. That was the biggest group.
Yeah, that's a big group right there. So we was doing things that that week right there. Those some of the coaches that coached 12 October. They're actually in that picture right there, man. Yeah, man. But that's how we do it, man. And another thing you said about giving back, and I talked about this. So I would feel like a hypocrite if somebody would have came to my neighborhood back in the day and could have given me knowledge, put tennis shoes on my feet, and fed me, I would have wished they would have done it. You know what I'm trying to say? And so now, if I could think back to my childhood and say, man, I wish somebody would have did this, how could I not do it now?
Yeah.
You know, how could I not do it now? That's the question I ask myself. From Michael Howard, Charlie Brown, the capabilities of thinking, man, I wish somebody would have did this for me. You know what I'm saying? So if I wish that for me, why can't I do for somebody else? You know, so that's a driving force to me. I got cats over there be teasing me. You trying to get into heaven because of this? No, man, I know this ain't gonna get you there. It ain't got nothing to do with that. You know, I couldn't do it for that reason. You know what I'm saying? I do it, like I said, I wish I would have had, pictures of them receiving their tennis shoes and the smiles on their faces then, man. So, I think in the future, I'll start posting those. Like right now, through donations this time, I've already purchased maybe about $1,800 worth of tennis shoes for this next group of kids. And, I've collected about $1,400. So that, it all pans out, a lot of times I say, I'm going to do it regardless. The same thing I used to do with my students. We're gonna do something. So if I said I'm going to do it, I get into doing, and then that's where it is. So if the amount of help that I get, man, I greatly appreciate it, man. There ain't no doubt about that. But it's gonna get done. You know what I'm saying? If I'm taking over 30 pair of tennis shoes, if I done chose 30 kids, they get tennis shoes. 30 kids gonna get them,
And that's why I wanted to have you on, man, because I think a lot of times there's ways to give back. There's ways to give back. And the thing is, I know what you've been doing because we communicating through Facebook Messenger with a, hey, RC, hey man, I'm doing this, can you contribute or whatever? And I say, yeah, I can contribute. I said, but you know what, better, I'll bring you on the show, let you tell the people what you're doing. And that way we can get the information out, for them to be able to contribute. And because sometimes when you ask people for stuff, if they don't know exactly where it's going, there's hesitation, you know what I'm saying? And I know most of the guys that we were stationed with or we served with in the military, anytime one of us is doing something, we all try to give in somehow, some way. So, but if ain't nobody told you, I'm gonna tell you, man, I appreciate what you're doing, bro, because it has sparked something in me, and people on the show will hear me say it, and they've heard me say it many times. I'm at that point where I want to give back. It's time to give back, because what a lot of people don't reflect on is look around you sometimes and see what you got. And I'm not talking about all the material things. I'm talking about your health, your livelihood, your family life, all those different things that you have that we take for granted. And then think about those that don't. And the giving back is not always monetarily. It's about just giving your time, giving your voice, giving something that you're passionate about. And I know Cheese, and we go, like I said, we go way back. I know Cheese is passionate about his basketball.
Right.
So when you have something like that, the giving back comes easy. And when you're doing it from your heart, that's why you mentioned about getting choked up when you look at those pictures. That's why you talk about getting choked up when you see your students and everything. And I think all of us should have something in us that makes us reflect on what we can give back, and know when you're doing it from your heart, them tears are going to come.
Oh, yeah.
The tears are going to come because you're seeing how you're impacting somebody. Like you said, they were joking. It ain't about trying to get into heaven.
Right now.
It's about doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's about doing the right thing. So, bro, I applaud you, man, with what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and we're gonna continue to talk about this. But let me ask you this. So over there, being that you're considered a foreigner, let's call it. I mean, I know you've been over the back and forth. How's the pushback on what you're doing, though? Is there pushback?
Yeah, there's from doing things from community, one barrio to the next, man. They have a lot of pride in the different barrios. So right now, I'm only working in one barrio. I want to expand out to a couple of other barrios, but mixing barrios over there is kind of crazy, man. It's like, we set this up for these kids in this area in Club 12 October. So it's kind of, but I haven't had any problems with the coaches. I try not to step on any feet. We have the basketball clinics early Saturday morning, and then we're out of the way. They were at one time. There were some older guys out there playing, because it's hot over there. They get their ball out of the way. They go out to the court 6 o'clock in the morning. They drinking their beer. They might have something on the grill. So when I first went out there, the first couple of times, no, we're gonna be done. So I would warm the kids up on the side until they left, but it was never an issue. And I think I spoke to you about this before. So you kind of like what Deion Sanders is doing out in Colorado now. They say the power of one. So I'm going to try to adopt the new slogan, man, one push one. You know what I'm trying to say? Because that power of one, man, is, if you think about it, everything that Deion is doing there, I'm not doing anything on that magnitude with those kids. But I want them to think one day, if someone is talking about Americans one day in a bad light, and one of them kids stand up and say, I knew a good American guy that did things for me and my friends.
Well, I'm gonna stop you real quick. Hold on, because I think you're selling yourself short, bro. Yeah. Well, no, and I say that because
Right.
what Deion Sanders is doing in Colorado has the media backing of it.
Right.
What you're doing is just as impactful, if not more impactful, for those kids over there. It's just no media coverage of it. So don't sell yourself short, bro. I don't want you to do that now. Because here's the thing: you taking your time and your money to go there.
Mm-hmm.
You doing what you need to do to go over there to help those kids learn about basketball, but at the same time, while they're learning basketball, they're learning life.
Right.
Life lessons are involved in it, because I'm sure there's conversations not just on basketball, and all those type things. So yeah, don't. I'm guilty of it too, man. I'll be honest. I'm guilty of, and we all get guilty of selling ourselves short and minimizing what we're doing. So I want to make sure we clear that up. She's doing big things over there. So any haters out there want to be a hater, you hate. But at the end of the day, the question comes in: what you doing?
Right.
Yeah. What are you doing? And it's not to put you, that you got to put your chest out and brag about it. But at the end of the day, what is everybody else doing? Before you become a critic, what are you contributing? That's all. Yeah. But go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I had to put that in there.
Hey, no problem. So not only that, when they can stand up to speak well about an American, because the majority of kids I come in contact with, I would say 95% of them will never come in contact with another American over there.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So I am that conduit, for something right, not something that they've had, right? So something that they heard about Americans. That's why I'm doing that. Another reason, and I told you this also, maybe 5 kids are walking together, and one of those 5 kids that are walking together was at the basketball clinic, one of the basketball clinics. And they see another kid across the street, and them 4 of those guys say, hey, man, let's go jump on this guy over there. And that one guy said, hey, man, that guy was at a basketball clinic with me years ago. He's a good dude. So when you do things, you never know the benefits. You never know. That Pandora's box. You know what I'm saying? You open something, and you don't know what you can be doing good for somebody, and you hope that good follows that, but you never know. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the good that comes from this outweighs the bad. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, hey, look, after the first clinic we had, the second clinic, I opened my mouth. Hey, we're going to get everybody tennis shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw it was something needed. So it wasn't a prolonged thought process. It was after our second meeting. And now this is probably about the 4th time that this is the first time I'm taking this method of shipping directly to a friend, Jeremy, that's over there. He's my driver that gets me to and from. A trusted person. He calls me primo now. That's cousin. When somebody can call you primo over there, they don't take that lightly. You know what I'm saying? So that's my primo. And his family, oh man, before I left the last time, him and his wife, they wanted me to come over to their house and have tacos before I left. It wound up being at our place, and we had about 6 or 7 friends. Wonderful evening, relax. I mean, you can tell when something is heartfelt. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want it, because I said I told him I didn't know when I was going back at the time. So he wanted to make sure his appreciation, his little daughter, and my other friend there, Jose Miguel, and him and his wife Zamora. They just wonderful people. But you know, that's at that small thing when you get down and you meet people and you don't try to label everybody the same, because over there, man, I mean, poor country, very poor country.
And we've been there, Philippines. We've been there.
Yeah, we've been there, so we seen it, the haves and the have-nots. And so yeah, and I really didn't do anything in the community. I played some basketball games in the community out in the barrios and things like that. But as far as, you know, so that was, you know, giving back in a sense.
Yeah.
But never nothing like this over there. Now, if I could go back now to organize some things with some kids and put on, but you know, we were young and we were just, you know, you were just in that.
We were just living life, bro. We were living life, trying to figure out who we were. You know what's funny about that? When we were in the Philippines, we had a crew that used to go downtown, and people see this as being crazy, but it was just something this minimal. We would go down, and there was a club called the Brass Knob. You remember what the Brass Knob was?
Right.
Right across from there was the basketball court, the outside court.
Okay.
We would go down in the evenings, and something as simple as putting the money in to turn the lights on for us to play against them. Once they would look for us every Saturday night to come down there, and we would talk about, hey man, we're going down and play under the lights, because it was something big for us too.
Right.
But the impact it had on the people, because the people was in the barbecue stands back there, they watching, people standing on the sides watching, and it grew. Right. And they were expecting us every Saturday.
Wow.
Just something that small, man.
I wish I would have knew about that, man. I would have enjoyed
it. You were too big for that, bro. You were too big for that. Y'all were running the gym.
Look, man, I played out in some areas in some barrios outside of playing with the base team. You know what I'm saying? I would go down there and play and just pass the ball. Like, man, I had a tooth knocked out on one of them courts down there, man. Look, you know, you love the game and you gonna play. You know, I just wanted a place to play half the time. Yeah, man. So yeah, the same situation there.
Thing. Yeah.
The kids, they don't have a lot. You know, some of them don't. Some of them have more than others. But just making contact, and like I said, giving back, doing what I can. I can't do everything, but this is something I can do. You know what I'm saying? I wake up, you know, the camp don't start until 8 o'clock, you know, and when a kid comes late, I'm pointing at my watch like, hey, you know, you need to be on time. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to establish that thing, because it's just like over in the Philippines, you have Filipino time. That's 30 minutes, an hour late. Same thing in the DR. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be there. So now I try to get them on that time schedule. Got them thinking now. I point down. So the last clinic I had before I left, Jeremy picked me up. We were kind of on time. He had to take his wife to work, so we were maybe 2 minutes behind. I get to the court like at 8 o'clock. Everybody pointing down at their wrist, said, you know, the time. You know?
You late.
So like you said, now time becomes something that's precious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they understand it. You know what I'm saying?
And they looking forward to it. They looking forward to it.
Yeah. Because I tell them, hey, don't be late. yeah, don't be late.
The other thing I wanted to put in there, man, was, and you said something earlier, but I wanted to reiterate this. What you're doing is planting seeds. You're planting seeds for something to grow. And the thing is, the people you've met, the people that invited you for dinner before you left the last time, and the kids that are showing up, because you see how the groups are growing each time you go. You're planting those seeds because now they're expecting to see you. And it's not about the shoes, it's about the camaraderie. It's about what they're getting from it. And as you mentioned, you're the American coming over there. That they got an impression of, well, what we see on TV with most of these Americans, he ain't them. And I think that's where and it's funny because how simple sports can be to bridge that gap in who we are, where we come from, what we have, and all that kind of stuff. So P. Rose said, how can we support? So we was going to get into that. He just jumped the gun a little bit. So, you know, so where can they, if people want to donate, if people want to provide the money for shoes or whatever will get involved, what can they do? Because I know you mentioned that this is something you just building. So let's put that out there before we get in. But go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I accept any type of donations through my Zelle account. It's easier for me that way, and then I can keep track of the donors as well. I get that email about who did what like that, so it gives me a good track. So so through my phone number, you can you can Zelle funds through my phone number. My phone number is 850-313-1067. So you can that's hooked directly to my Zelle account, man. And like you said, that bridging that gap between things like that, because it's hard for a Dominican man to say I love you. They ain't gonna say it too often. You know what I'm trying to say? So one of my players, Hill, I would take him to the gym to work him out, lift weights and everything like that. And when I was getting ready to leave on another occasion, and he called me Robe. He said, Robe, I love you. And I was like, it caught me off guard because it's not something you often hear because they don't get to the gratitude of a lot of things it passes them by. You would think on some levels, you give me some every time I see you, I'm gonna give you some love.
Right.
It may not get that because the kids don't know how to express that. That's not emotion that they may show outside the house. And another cat, Carlos Bautista, man, maybe after the second time I took tennis, he's like, man, you did enough. Why you keep doing this? And that came from, I was like, oh my goodness. But so when one person like Hill or another person like Carlos, they push me again. You know what I'm saying? If I'm ready to stop, I hear something like that, I keep pushing because now I know other kids can maybe not be able to express themselves in a sense. But those two expressing those thoughts are like that, man. That like everybody needs to be refilled and refreshed. You know what I'm saying? But you can run out. It don't take a whole lot. I'm trying to say the sun out there beat me down. I'm 60 years old now. I can't do what I want to. I can't get out to show them what I want to show. Look, my hand-eye coordination gone. My eyesight gone. My knees. I done had my left knee.
Hey, don't put all that out there, man, because all them dudes you used to break down back in the day gonna be looking for you. Like, let's throw it up, cheese.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I had a guy, Derry Green, man. He coached those teams from Okinawa, man. The Kadena Falcons, man. He called me up. He made a donation last year, I believe. He said, "Oh man, they're having a big tournament down in Orlando, over 40 tournament." I said, "Look at here, man." I want you to come run the point for me. I said, "Man, look at here, man." I said, "Man, I'm 60 years old now. That over 40 or whatever like that, man. Now, man, them cats ain't gonna get me." So so it's things like that when you can help and do things, man. Again, I get kind of choked up about it because again, I think about Michael Howard, Charlie Brown, and then my high school coach, man, Ron Speedy, man. Again, I didn't know nothing about Coach Speedy when he coached me in high school. One day he gave me, after a summer league game one time, he was going back to the school in his van. He looked at me in a way, man, that few people ever looked at me. Like, yeah, you got it. You can sense it. I wasn't a big player on the team. I was probably the last man on the team. At the beginning of my senior year, I was about 5'2". I was the same height as my mom. So look, it was a pretty big high school. It was just a privilege just to be on that team. I had to fight. I'm trying to say it was like I just walked in the gym. I was impressive or anything like that. So just him taking the time, I did something stupid one time. We had a game. I'm not playing at all. I'm on the sideline being the clown for the fan, drying my face off with a towel under my arm like I'm playing, right? He could have kicked me off the team. He could have embarrassed me in front of the team. But the next day, when he was wrapping my ankles, now I'm the 12th man on the team, but he taking the time to wrap my ankles before practice. He's wrapping my ankles, and he brought up that situation. He said, "I don't expect that out of you again," in a very calm manner. And that stuck with me for the rest of my life, man, that he had everything that I wanted in his hands. He could have just pushed me out, but he didn't do it. But it took me 33 years to go back and thank Coach Speedy, man. 33 years, because I'm saying you start going back and you replaying your life in your head. And I reached out to him. He was down in Auburn, Alabama, and I was in Atlanta visiting Oscar. I drove to Auburn, Alabama, man, sat down and thanked Coach Speedy. And his wife was there. And man, his backyard, man, it was simple, but it was nice. It was encased his back porch was encased, and it was flowers like in a circle. I said, man, you get up and you able to see this every morning? And he said, yeah. But he passed a couple of years ago, man. He was so I was glad I was able to reconnect and tell him thank you and tell him that I loved him. I didn't even know he was a Vietnam veteran, because I invited him to come up and go to the memorials. I was talking about my favorite memorials, and he said he couldn't do it. He said he had friends' names written on that wall, so he couldn't come. So his wife was in the hospital. He was worried about his wife. He actually passed away in the parking lot, getting into his car while he was visiting his wife, man. So that was, but I was happy. I had closure with Coach Speedy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say, yeah. So it was nothing left on the table. Like with Coach Bradley, everything I wanted to say was just left on the table. So at least I had an opportunity to do that with Coach Speedy. You know what I'm saying?
And not to cut you off, G, but here's the other thing that I think some of us don't. And in that case with Coach Bradley that you talk about, that you didn't get a chance. He knew. He knew. Sometimes we think that we didn't get a chance to tell them, but they already know. And you know how they know? Because of what you're doing right now, what you're doing now, and what you've been doing. Because the thing is, those seeds that you're planting over there are the same seeds that were planted in you.
Right.
So, I think sometimes we get caught up in what we didn't say, but we don't recognize that what we are doing, they see because they watch us.
Right.
Anybody that's been an influence in anybody's life out there, they watching you. And the reason they watching you is because they're proud of what you're doing and they know what you're doing. And they may not even say it to you, because sometimes we look for the applause. We look for the hey, you're doing a good job and everything. But sometimes when it don't come, we get upset. But know that they know. They know. And just like you said, it's hard when somebody says, I love you. I mean, these guys are over there, they love you for what you're bringing to them, to their kids, that you don't have to do.
Right.
Sometimes we have to step back for a minute and say, it's not about all the accolades, it's not about all the flowers, it's not about this and that. Don't get me wrong. Give people the flowers while they're here.
Right.
But at the same time, everyone knows what you're doing, even if they don't mention it, because you got those that are gonna dislike what you're doing.
Right.
And you got those that are gonna love what you're doing. So keep doing what you're doing, man. 850-313-1067. That's for the donations. That's for Robert McKinney, aka Cheese. We go way back, man. I appreciate it. And the thing, when's next time you going over? When you going back over?
I'm heading back over the beginning of November. So I'm going back in a couple of weeks. I'm going to visit my mom down in South Kakalaki for a minute.
Hey, Mom, what's going on now?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go down there and be with my family for about a week. Come back, gather my things, and like I said, this time normally I've been traveling over there with the sneakers, carrying that extra baggage, but they hit you over the head with that extra baggage. So this time I'm trying to see how it is shipping, but everything that comes into the country is taxed. So everything has to come in under $200. So it has to be multiple shipments. It can't be that one large shipment. So it's things like that. And like what you said about somebody's watching, regardless, that's the one thing I used to tell my cadets, man. And somebody's always watching what you're doing. And Monica was a terrific story, man. She was one of my cadets. She had I started a scholarship fund at the school because of John Marquez. He was my supervisor over in the Philippines. So again, and he was the first one to talk to me about becoming a JROTC instructor. So his name was above my door, not my name. It was John Marquez. That was the name above my classroom. So when the kid would ask why, I could always tell him the story that I am a JROTC instructor because of John Marquez. So those things like that, like you said. And so, let me tell you the story about Monica. So this is outside of basketball. So got a scholarship that paid for the last year, about $4,000 that paid for her clinical studies. So this senior year, they take one thing, the next year, their clinical year. So she was actually great cadet, the commander of our troops and everything. So she was at a job doing things, and the head nurse was actually looking at her doing what she was doing. And she was just in the clinical studies, and they hired her. And the other nurses said, "How can you hire her? She can't be on call. She can't handle emergency." And the lady said, I know who I want to be on my team. So only thing but it was because she was doing all the right things. She didn't even know she was under observation. But as far as always having her hair back, her nails done, wearing a uniform, the correct way, the stuff that she learned as a cadet, man, and it fell right into it. So I have two now. One's a BSN, and Monica is a registered nurse that went through the program, that was able to use that money out of the John Marquez Scholarship Fund that helped them through. Yeah, man. So, man, look, man, like you said, and I know John, his son now, John Marquez Jr., he's a chief master sergeant in the Air Force now.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah, man. I was like, man, and he looked just like his dad. But his dad, man, if you ever have a friend that genuinely smiles to you, it is nothing like that, man. And that's how John was. But again, I couldn't recognize that until I had done left that situation
after the fact,
and went back and read a Christmas card that he was like, "Man, we're gonna always be family. We're gonna love you. This may be our last Christmas together, but we're gonna always be family, and we're gonna always love you." Come on now.
I want people to recognize something. Then they don't know you per se.
Right.
They know you today, but they don't know you. But I want to bring something up to y'all. I know Cheese years and years. It's been a long time.
Right.
I want y'all to see and recognize the way his face lights up when he talks about these kids that he's impacted or done something to or had it within his realm of responsibility at some time. I say that only because what people got to recognize is when you get joy out of doing what you do, everything else don't matter. It's water under the bridge. All the stressful things we think about, the impact of what we have as far as pouring into other people, whether it be children, family members, whatever. I tell you, Cheese, like I said, man, I'm gonna say it again. I appreciate what you're doing, bro, because I see how it impacts you. You brought tears to your eyes when we talked about the kids over there. When you talk about the students that you had in JROTC, we can all hope to have that type of impact, man. So I'm gonna give you your flowers today. Y'all get mad if you want. I'm giving them his flowers today. Because, it needs to be done, bro. And with the donations, I want everybody to know this because me and Cheese talked about it. We're not gonna go down that rabbit hole, but there's a whole lot of different red tape as far as how the donations are done and everything like that. And he's working through those. But for now, the donations go directly to the Zelle. He ain't pocketing the money, nothing like that. He's contributing to this organization. But I will ask this, Cheese. So you're going back in November. When's the cutoff for this one?
Look, man, it ain't no cutoff. Like I said, I purchased about $1,800 worth of sneakers right now.
No, I had to put this one up, bro.
Come on now.
I can't let you go without giving you a prop. You see that number 22 in the air right there?
And that cat was about 6'7", 6'8", man. But and the cat number 20, he was the one that was checking me. I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying?
I had to give it to you, bro. I had to give it to you, man. I had to give it to you, man.
There was the times right there, you know what I'm saying? I got my fake Jordans on, you know the thing, called me blisters. I went downtown and bought them things, man, because they look good. Oh man, they tore my feet up. Woo!
Yeah, man. I had to give you props, bro.
yeah. So what we're doing is, as far as that's concerned, like anybody that donates, it's gonna go back to contributing shoes. Whether I have to send them back, whether they go back with me or not, if I get whatever I get in, it's gonna get on. They're gonna be placed on somebody's feet. You know what I'm trying to say? But like some people may be capable of giving today, even if that money just sits there until the next time. But like I said, since now that I'm sending stuff over via Amazon to Jeremy's. They don't have mailboxes over there, man. It's crazy. And on no street get no mail. You know? So they got a shipping service that everything gets done through. So so that's how it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If people want to, donate, believe me, man. I've been blessed financially. You know, I that's the one thing I'm not thinking about. Hey, look, somebody hit me with a little small scam before, so I know how I feel. But there's a poem out there, man. The guy said, if you can take all your earnings in one pitch and toss and lose and never talk about it again. Yeah. Oh man, look, man. And some of my students got me into reading poetry, man. I had written some poetry when I was stationed in Montana because there wasn't nothing to do. I'd be working those midnight shifts. But when I went to the Philippines, all that writing stopped and it never started back up again. You got to be in that place in your mind.
Yeah.
And now that one of my students got me. Oh man, it's some beautiful poetry out there now that I'm reading, man. It's simple stuff, man. And Anton Fisher, that man, like who would cry for the little boy, lost and all alone? Who would cry for the little boy,
Watch out now.
abandoned without his own? Oh my goodness, who would cry for the little boy who died again and again? Man, that thing, man, you read that poem, man, that thing, man, if that thing don't do something to you, and you a man, ain't nothing gonna move you. By Rudyard Kipling. So man, look, man, I read some poem. Cat wrote some poem back in 1927, and it still rings true today. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, them cats had to be in tune with so much, man. Way before their time, like a Marvin Gaye singing "What's Going On." That was way before his time. We're dealing with all of these issues, these environmental issues now that he was talking back in that song way back when. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The wars and everything, the killing, all of those things, man, those things are timeless,
850-313-1067. That's the Zelle. You can send the donations there. Any amount is good. If you don't have a lot, send a little. If you can send a lot, send a lot. That's all it is. I'm gonna put a challenge out there, Cheese. I'm gonna sell you $100 today. Donate towards the cause, and then anybody else, I'm challenging y'all to listen out there. I think we got some people still on here listening. $100. RW Cool is donating $100 in the name of Speak on the show. Y'all go ahead and contribute, man. $20 to buy a pair of shoes for these kids and get them over there. Help Cheese continue to grow and get this foundation rolling so he can get the LLC and all that other stuff with the red tape under control and go from there,
Because my biggest thing is, and I think I spoke with you about this yesterday, is I'm not going to be able to continue to do it, man. My health, things like that. So I got to think about that now. So I want to have something put in place, have trusted people over there
so
can
continue.
Do it, man. Because the worst thing to do, man, look, I went back one time. I went back on a Thursday, and we normally have the camps on a Saturday. And I was like, nah, Jeremy, I'm not going to do it. Bobby, I'm not going to do it this set. I'm just getting back in town. But I took Jeremy to breakfast that morning, and we had to pass by the park, and it was locked up, and no kids out there at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that ate at my heart.
It hit at you. Yeah.
It ate at me. I was like, man, I'm up. I know I was going to be up. And when we drove by there, man, I couldn't. So if I ain't having no camp, Jeremy, we can't go by the park early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Can't do it. Right. Yeah, man. So that's so it's things like that, man. It's it's so like you said, when it's something that's heartfelt and you're passionate about something, you have people, if you're passionate. So let me this is what I used to talk to my students about, man. SEE, significant emotional event. If you don't have a significant emotional event about something, it's not going to change your thought process. Like I've never had a close family member of me die of cancer. So when people are talking about cancer, I can have sympathy towards it, but the empathy, I haven't dealt with that at that stage. So until you have some significant emotional events that's going to change who you are and how you think about things, it's crazy, man. But that's the one thing I used to always get on my students about. Yeah, because one of the young ladies in the class, her name was Carla Watson. And she lost her mom at a very young age, man. And so kids that was in the classroom, I said, you know what? Some of you guys come in here complaining about your mom and not listening. I said, you can't be in my class saying yes, sir, and no, sir, and then go home and say hi and why and be yelling at your mom. I said, you guys that have mothers in here, Carla doesn't have a mother in here. She doesn't have a mother alive. She would give anything to be able to talk to her mom. So we take so many things for granted because we don't have those significant emotional events that change us. Not that we can glaze over, but a significant emotional event would change you. Like me going and having those 2 stress attacks. I'm in there crying to the doctors. I care more about my students than I care about myself. And one nurse was in there. She was from an African country. You know what I'm saying? Some country in Africa. And she was like, with that African kind of, you have to know how to refill yourself. She said, if you run out of gas, what's going to happen? So she broke that thing down to me, man. And that wisdom that you get when you hear other people talk. And then the last doctor, so she said, you like my father, but his thing was smoking. He couldn't stop smoking. He said, your thing is kids. He said, the cigarettes killed my dad. Her dad was a chemist, and she's a doctor. And she said there was nothing that was going to stop us. But again, so the things that we run away from sometimes, we run to. I ran away from my kids in the JROTC. Now I ran to these kids over in the DR. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times what we try to run away from, we wind up running to. You know what I'm saying?
You just gave me a gem today. C, significant emotional event. I'm going to continue to use that. P-Row, my brother, count me in. Always willing to help. $100 a day. There we go. It's just that simple, y'all. It's just that simple. So, Chief, we're going to wrap it up, man. But before we wrap it up, man, anything that you want the people to know specifically about what you're doing or anything, just put it out there. Let's go. Give us some words of wisdom or something.
Hey, look, man, I wish I was planning on pulling up that poem, man, and sharing a poem or some bits of some poems for you with the group, man. But it's just, what's in your heart, do it, take time. And, if you're passionate about something, find a way to do something with that passion that you have. But so many people, they may have the means. Like one of the retired Chief Sullins, he helps me every year, man. He like, man, you can count on me. He said, from a logistical standpoint, he said, you can count on me. And another Chief Edwards, he said, you know why we do this? Why we support you with this? He said, because we respect you. You know what I'm trying to say? So those things, like I said, those tidbits, man, those words right there, again, they push me to keep, in a sense, they push me forward, that I know I have the support. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier when you have the support to do something. Because like I said, I'm gonna do what I done told them kids I'm gonna do. Once I get their picture and they side, okay, Bobby, go ahead. We let the kid know when we take a picture and they get their side, we getting ready to, to provide them or gift them with something. And now this time I'm buying more training equipment. Beyond the basketballs, we got a regular basketball, we got the heavy ball.
Heavy ball. I ain't coming to your camp. Oh, you went out. Your mic went out.
Okay, and then we get a pop up. All right, man, I'm gonna cut off, man, because
no, Cheese, you good, man. We gonna wrap it up, man. We gonna wrap it up. What I wanted to say before we cut this off, man, is, hey, bro, keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. I know the Derek Greens, we both know, and all the other guys that we was in the military with, they know what you're doing. They appreciate what you're doing. The flowers may not show up when you think they should show up,
right?
But the flowers are gonna be there, bro. Because like you said, you got the memory of Charles Brown and Michael Howard in your mind, and what you're doing is the same thing that they did for you. And at the end of the day, all we can ask for is just somebody to pour a little bit back in. But just remember this, because you mentioned it with the JRTC, so I'm gonna put this in your mind too. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Ooh,
you can't pour from an empty cup, bro.
I know, man.
Take them breaks, man. Pull yourself away, but you can't pour from an empty cup. Just remember that.
Hey, look, Fillmore James told me, he said, man, we sitting around after school one day, about 5 or 6 other cadets. I'm sitting at my desk, we from the military. We gonna always have a comeback. You say something, all right, he like, I like, y'all don't think I have a life? Fillmore said, Sarge, we are your life. I looked at him, I looked down at my desk and looked at him again. I couldn't say that because it was true.
It's that simple.
They were my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another donation, bro. Willis Cheney. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
appreciate you. There's a backstory with Willis Cheney, but I'll tell you that offline. I don't know if he want to put it out there, so I'll put that out there.
Yeah,
Me and him got to talk anyway. 850-313-1067. That's the donations. Any little bit of help with donating for the foundation. It's 12 October is the ones that you're working with over there, right?
Yeah, the kids, they got, they have a little club team set up over there. They call 12 October, man. So, like I said,
move your camera up,
JROTC could. Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can only see your face.
Okay.
I mean, you can't see your face. There you go.
So the JROTC cadets, our saying was, we would say our school name, and then we would say, like we hear, right?
Yeah.
So one of my Hispanic females, Fabiola, says, "Son McKinney, we need to say something in Espanol." I say, "How you say in Espanol? Tu sabes?" So we started saying tu sabes in high school. So what we say over there when the kids see me, I can't remember all their names, so I say tu sabes. So when they see me, they say tu sabes.
That's it.
I'm riding down the street in Jeremy's car, they walking on the street, tu sabes, yelling back, so that's,
Yeah, there you go. We got another $100 coming in, man. Hey, appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna say it for him. Appreciate y'all's donations, man.
Yeah,
appreciate y'all's donations today. And reach out to other folks. Let them know what he's doing over there, man. You can go back and share the show so they can hear exactly what's going on. But man, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you coming in today. I know it was last minute, man, and we were missing each other on and off, but I definitely wanted to get you in because I know you said you was getting ready to go back over. But hey, man, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. And
much love and blessings, RC, man. Much love and blessings, man.
For sure, man.
That's how I sign out, man. Much love and blessings, baby.
Well, that's what we're going to wrap it up with today. Much love and blessings. We're not going to do my normal outtake. We're going to say much love and blessings today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I'll see y'all again next week, and we'll holler. And we out. Peace.
Peace.